It just seemed like you were reading. But so one tool that you could do, so I'm going to try it with when I do my speech. So I'm not sure how it will work. It worked when I was with the presentation tutor, whatever, but using the share screen tool. So you can like share your screen and have just like click on the picture that you want to show and it will show on your screen.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I really haven't played with Zoom too much. Like even today, you can ask Taylor. I was having problems sending out the link. If he doesn't tell me that I didn't schedule it, you guys probably wouldn't even seen it.
Hi, man. I came late to your presentation. I'm sorry, but I didn't hear it. It was good. Just one thing I would give feedback on is, as everyone said, maybe more practice. I'm going to read my speech as well, but because I know it's difficult. There's a lot of things to talk about, and maybe we haven't practiced enough. But just you will need a little bit more practice, like so that your speech will flow and you won't need to read that much. Okay. But it was great.
Thank you. Next.
I can go next just so I can get it done and over with.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm starting with a video. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
It's SpongeBob.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Essay, I say, prepare to be written. I'm doing it. Yeah. Some of these, almost there. Done. Now let's see how it looks so far. The time.
Okay, so could you guys see the video?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. So I love the fact that after SpongeBob had written one word, he was ready for a break, because this happens to me all the time. I have mastered the art of procrastination. I'm a master of it, but I know it's not something that it will last forever. I'll probably stop tomorrow or the day after. Just, it depends on what I have going on. But there are different types of procrastinators. There are active procrastinators, non-procrastinators, and passive procrastinators. And there's different reasons why people procrastinate too. It might be because they're perfectionists. They have a fear that what they're going to do might not be good enough, or even they have a fear of not living up to someone's expectations. They have low self-esteem. Maybe they don't have good study habits, or even they might think that they just thrive off the suspense of waiting until the last minute. But a recent study found that, quote, non-procrastinators and active procrastinators both tend to have higher levels of propulsive use of time, time control, self-efficacy than do passive procrastinators. They're more likely to experience positive outcomes. If something unexpectedly comes up, they will switch gears and engage in new tasks that they perceive as more urgent. In other words, active procrastinators may have more flexibly structured time and are more sensitive to changing demands in their environment, end quote. So basically, a non-procrastinator is someone who rarely procrastinates at all. They can get things done. An active procrastinator is someone who does procrastinate, but they're still able to stay on top of everything and get everything done. And then there are passive procrastinators who procrastinate, but maybe not for a real reason, or just different things. But it's understanding the type of procrastinator we are and why we procrastinate that we can overcome those challenges. So unfortunately, I'm a passive procrastinator. This is mostly just because I'm a perfectionist. I have a fear that what I'm going to do is never going to be good enough or meet my expectations. so then I just don't try. Or when I do try, and when I do something, it just doesn't turn out the way I wanted because I know it won't, so I don't give my best. For example, I'm supposed to be making my brother's save the date cards and his wedding invitations, and I just haven't started really because I'm afraid that they're just not going to turn out good. I'm afraid that he's not going to like them and that there's just going to be a problem with them. But I just need to work at it and keep going. It's said that the perception of falling short of one's own standards does not bolster task approach. Rather, it triggers procrastination. So for me, that really makes sense. If I have this fear, that's what really triggers my procrastination, and I keep on procrastinating and waiting. So I need to step up my game. And a lot of people might ask, you might ask, how can I stop procrastinating when it's something that I've done my whole entire life? And I'm right there with you because this is something that I do. But one thing that we can remember is the acronym SWAP, which stands for Start with a Part. So when we break up a task or project into smaller pieces, we're able to get things done better. Of course, this is more easily said than done because it takes a lot of discipline and it takes a lot of practice and effort to be able to do those things. So if we have someone that we can turn to as an accountability partner and set a deadline with them, that can help us to be more motivated to work towards a deadline. It can help us to be more focused on the task that we have. Something else that I like to do makes me feel like a child, but it works a lot for me. It's by making a checklist of everything that I need to do. And then I set a reward for myself at the end. So I say, okay, if I do all of these things, then I get this reward. And so it helps me when I'm thinking, okay, I just need to do this one small task, and that will help me to get my reward. So yeah, it makes me feel like a child, but it really works for me. And even though a lot of people might think that they work really well at procrastinating or working under pressure, it actually doesn't leave a lot of time for practice or for reviewing or for corrections. Things could still go wrong, like a printer malfunction, or you run late, you sleep in, your dog ate your homework, anything. But SpongeBob in the video, he did a really good job at writing the word the. It was beautiful, it was perfect, it was excellent, but it wasn't the right job that he needed to do at the right time. So when we do more and plan to accomplish something today, we'll do more than if we plan to accomplish something tomorrow. Okay, that was it.
Really good. That was awesome. I really liked it because I could relate to it all the way through. Like, in fact, I was trying to decide which type of procrastinator I am. I think I'm an actively passive procrastinator. And the list thing, I like that too. I typically do that as well, but I put like 50 things on the list and I get 5 done and then I make a new list. And I never get past the first 5. So anyways, I thought it was great. I really enjoyed it.
Thanks.
As far as your time, I think I probably did it like a few minutes within your thing, but it seems like you was right on the time. So good job on that.
I felt like I was talking really fast. I could tell I was nervous. I was like, I just need to breathe and slow down.
But it is 5 minutes, so as long as you're within the time, you're fine.
Well, and I think she said, like, if we didn't go too, like, it sounded like this one wasn't quite as strict as the last one.
Oh, okay.
And I don't know if it was her announcements or something, I don't know.
I thought it was good. It reminded me of myself. Like, so I actually used to not be a procrastinator. And then, this sounds really bad, but I married my wife. And she's like the miss procrastinator about homework and everything. She's like, it's not due till Thursday. Like, we'll just wait. And I'm like, no, let's start on Monday, get it done. Or start at least. But no, it just made me think about that and like how we all function differently and how we all have different operations and how we handle stress and different work priorities.
Cool.
I'm the perfectionist, the passive one you were talking about. That's me.
All right. Anyone?
I'll go.
Okay.
Okay, give me 1 second. I am going to share my screen when it's time, I guess. I do have it somewhat ready, so give me 1 second. All right. I'm going to be reading a little bit, trying not to do as much as possible, but I will go ahead and start. So, I will go ahead and neither man nor woman is perfect or complete without the other. Thus, no marriage or family, no ward or state is likely to reach its full potential until husbands and wives, mothers and fathers, men and women work together in unity of purpose, respecting and relying upon each other's strengths. This was quoted by Sherry L. Dew. This leads into one of the key differences from marriages now compared to the 1960s, which I will be talking about, and what the changes have become since the 1960s in today's marriages. Many key differences include divorce rates, the number of people getting married, and same-sex marriages. When discussing traditional roles of men and women, things drastically are different now than the 1960s. The 1960s, men worked and women stayed at home. Men were expected to provide for a family and make a living on one income. Women were expected to maintain a clean household, prepare meals, and care for children. In contrast to our day, we have become more financially independent, and we have now entered the workforce. Many women have careers, and it is more common to have a two-household income. Also, a role reversal is more prevalent in today's society, with men staying at home and women providing a family. I have a chart here I'd like to show you really quick. Let's see. Can you guys see that?
Yeah.
Perfect. Actually, let's go like this. So here you'll see the, that's divorce rates. Sorry, this is the one I want to show you. This has a lot of different things, but it just has a couple cool things of marriage, children, and different things, and it breaks down. A couple cool stats that I found inside of this alone were just, like I said in my speech, that it's almost doubled since the 1960s, and it's increased more and more every year and I guess since then. Also, with traditional roles, men and women in the 1960s have become stated as the cause of marital woes. That may explain for some reasons of divorce going up. The divorce rate since the 1960s averaged at 25%. It was much less common for people to get divorced then because of the stigma around it, or the wording, or the financial, social, and other consequences that it had back then compared to today. I guess divorce is not disintegrated, or has increased, and it's become easier. The other stat I showed just for a second, but I will go back to it. Let's see, there we go. You'll see here it's actually doubled. Like I was saying, the divorce rates have increased huge. I found this chart online when I was researching, and I thought it was just a really amazing, significant statistic that shows us what's really changed since the 60s, especially with divorce and how easy it's become accessible. With that, I will go into it here. It says, while divorce rates have gone up, the amount of people getting married has declined significantly. In the 1960s, 68% of adults ages 20 to 29 were married. And in a census taken in 2008, only 26% of this age group was married. This is a large decrease of the number of people getting married today compared to the 1960s. This may be part due to the role reversal career-oriented women and also men staying at home. Subsequently, this has led to more children being born out of wedlock and couples choosing not to have children as well. The ideas of having children has changed since the 1960s. Most women were expected to become mothers or staying home. Another big increase that caused issues was same-sex marriages. I had one last slide to show you really quick. This one. This just shows since 2000, but it showed a really significant stat. You'll see here only same-sex marriage, it's about 1% of marital status of the United States of America, but it has increasingly increased by 25 to 50%, and this year alone has increased by 36%, which was really significant, I thought, of the world and how it's changed and what's come up since then. that's just a little bit of the information that I wanted to share with you about how marriage has changed so much since the 1960s and how divorce rates has increased and those getting married have declined. And I just like the quote at the beginning that Sherry Aldu said. Again, I'll just read it. She says here, neither man or woman are complete without each other. Thus, no marriage or family, no ward or stake is likely to reach its full potential until husbands and wives, mothers and fathers, men and women work together in unity of purpose, respecting and relying upon each other on each other's strengths. I just really like that, and I thought it really explains about marriage and how it's changed since the 1960s, and that was just a little information I wanted to share with you today.
Okay. Hey, so the same thing is gonna happen again that happened last time we was doing the speeches about the time going out. So the meeting it says it's gonna end in like 7 minutes on my thing. So like I think we have to go back and get on it again. I'm not sure. Is that what we did last time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so do I have to start again a meeting, or how does that work?
We just go back and click on the same link you sent out.
Same
earlier.
link. Just each session only has 30 minutes with the free version.
Oh,
If you
okay.
log into your BYU one, then you don't have to do that.
Oh, I don't know. It's telling me to upgrade to the pro. So
No, BYU has a free account. Well, they have an account for all the students.
oh, well, we'll just do what we did last time and just get on it again. But by the way, I think you went over it a little based on my time. So I don't know. I guess you might wanna
Okay.
reduce it a little, possibly.
That's perfectly fine. I think that's great. It's easier to reduce than add.
Yeah. Okay. Anybody else?
I think you did a good job. I would maybe not spend so much time on like the shared screen, just because then like when we're watching you, it's like just a little box. But I liked your facts that you shared. It was pretty concrete, and it's hard to disprove evidence. So
Yeah, I agree with that. I would agree with hers. I asked on the discussion board if we could do like a PowerPoint, and she said, I think as long as us speaking is, I don't know, if you look on the questions and answers or whatever she talks about, but I don't know if it was more than half, or she just wanted most of it to be us speaking and not just presentation, but I don't remember exactly how she put it.
I will look that up. And yeah, I totally forgot about that after starting. My nerves got to me.
Yeah.
I think it's a little challenging doing it the way we're doing it, because if you're doing the speech in front of a group, then you can have the PowerPoint up the entire time and it doesn't affect it at all. And so,
And a little clicker.
yeah, it makes it a little bit different. It's definitely a different challenge. I think you did a good job. I think you had some great information, and I guess the only recommendation I would make, and I notice this because I do it a lot, is I'll repeat the same word over and over and over through a speech.
Okay.
And the word that seemed to stand out to me was 1960s.
Okay.
So maybe you can find a replacement for that, or
Yeah.
I won't say it as much, but that's something I do all the time, and so I'm kind of hyper aware of it.
No, for sure. I agree with that.
Another thing
I always get more nervous on these than, I don't know.
Another thing I noticed, I think is you said I'll read that again or something like that.
Yeah.
Like when you was going, I would recommend you don't say that. You just read it.
Okay.
Or kind of make it like, flow. Because if you're saying it, it's like, okay, let me read this.
Got it.
I like the quote you started out with.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, well, there's 4 minutes left, so I don't know if you guys want to go into the speech, just wait and then, or have me end it and restart it again.
I say we just log out, log back in.
Yeah,
Okay.
jump off and jump back in.
Okay, I'll do that then.